Hey friends, so many of you have been joining recently and I'm so grateful. I had a question in the last couple of weeks about the seventh house and I would like to just address that. So I am also going to add a link to this post that has a video about all the houses of the zodiac, and that might be worth looking at. It's on YouTube, and it's something I created about a year ago. But the seventh house is the first house that's above the horizon. If you're going around 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, it's the first house that's above the horizon. It's the first public house. So it has a lot to do with how you meet another. It has a lot to do with relationship. It has a lot to do with the dance of marriage and partnership, but it's also an area that has to do with more intimate collaboration in general. So it can have to do with business partners as well, contracts that you sign with others. It's the first moment where you reach out your hand and you say, hello, how are we going to work together? It's also a house that is the house of right relationship. So how are we treating one another? How do you feel in relationship? How do you act in relationship? And so if the planet Uranus is in the seventh house, you want to feel a lot of freedom and a lot of breaking the rules in relationship. You want to feel authentic. You want to feel free. You want to feel outside the status quo. Do you know, if Neptune's in the seventh house, you love being in love. You might even idealize partners. It's a very dreamy placement, or you might want partners that are more artistic or sensitive. So the planet, if there is a planet in that house, it has a lot to do with the kind of person that you might like to attract, but also how you might behave in relationship. The phrase for that house, the phrase for Libra, because that is the Libra house, the phrase for that house is, I choose the way that leads between the two great lines of force. So this is from Alice Bailey's Esoteric Astrology. And so the seventh house has a lot to do with choice and making choices, and particularly making choices in the realm of relationship, and not just weighing things, but actually moving forward. Because sometimes Libra or the seventh house can sort of be an in-between time. But under this house, you have to keep moving forward. You have to keep making choices about with whom you will relate. Seventh house is also when a planet is transiting that house, it just wakes up the whole realm of connection, of dance, the dance of relationship, of beauty, of balance, of harmony, of the quest for peace, of the quest for diplomacy. And it wakes that area up and it engages you one-on-one. If the first house is more the self, the seventh house is always the self dancing with the other. If first house of Aries is solo, Libra is always the blending, the dance, the cooperation. And of course, the only thing you have to be careful about with the seventh house is it too much given to the other? Is there enough reserve left for the full expression of self? Or is it completely involved in the other person or the other persons that you're invested in, that you forget the needs, the desires, the goals of the self? And obviously we want a balance of those. So, the rulers of the seventh house would be Venus and Uranus, because Uranus is the esoteric ruler of Libra. So let's treat one another equally, fairly, justly, the seventh house says. And whatever rules the seventh house, whatever sign is right at the cusp of the seventh house, says something about the quality and nature and energetic play of relationships in your life. So that's just a little glimpse of the seventh house. Let me know if you have other questions. Okay, take care.